What's the capacity?
You think that many people are gonna show up?
Yeah.
I think they'll show up after they get their cards. If there's a problem with some of them.
That would, the purpose of the meeting is to explain to them what the process is and what it entails. 'Cause
They won't know until they get their cards, right? When will they get their cards?
They won't know what the value is until
At the end of the year.
fall. Well, no, a letter will go out basically that says, it'll
When's that letter
compare
going after?
when the process is complete.
And we're gonna put a date on there, I guess, for the special meeting. Is that right? Alan?
Typically, when you get the most volume of residents is after the assessment has been completed,
Right.
and people have questions or concerns about their new assessment. And in the past, in other towns, what they've done is they've had special meetings set up with the assessor himself, not involving mayor and council, to try to resolve most of those issues. And then obviously, if they're unresolvable, they have the right to file appeals. And
But that's with the county, that's not with the council, right? Isn't it
Right.
the county that does?
Well, no, you wouldn't be able to appeal it with the council.
You appeal with the county.
Correct.
So he just think this is just an informative meeting?
This is the front end. What he's correct, this will be in the informational letter that goes out, basically saying, basically any further questions, we can attend this meeting. And it could go anywhere from a half hour recording presentation to as many questions that you have, so you couldn't say how long the meeting will last. But, and then the reassessment will be completed
When we
by
have special meetings, that's what.
mid to late fall. So that's when the letters will be going out, and you will have a follow-up.
Now, he must have his meeting after this letter sent out prior to the process. Correct?
Well, yeah, to explain what's happening.
To explain to the residents.
But,
I think we could have it.
The most important part of a reassessment or reval is communication. And I think that everyone, when you run into problems, is when people don't know what's going on and they get surprised at the end. So I think
When's
whatever-
this letter going out?
The letter will be going out in the next few weeks. So by the end of the month, we hope to have it out, because there are people going out there doing.
So we should have video of this letter that's going on. It's too late.
when's the budget have to be done?
Much will be able, so.
All right,
Then we'll bring the school board in.
yeah.
Can we do it earlier? You want to do it?
You do a special meeting,
Yeah,
just
fine.
advertise.
Do it on the same day, 5 o'clock, or give it half hour? I'm just throwing it around, it's up to you. Whatever you want.
Re-advertise the May meeting and start it earlier. For discussion.
Think a half hour is good for him?
Yeah.
We can try. I guess worst case scenario is, we haven't had one of those 12 o'clock meetings in a while.
It's been a long time. They stopped.
That was my first meeting, my wife said, it's gonna be this way all the time.
We don't do that.
Sick of using my vacation time.
If I may, I've been at other towns where they've done this, like Jack was talking about, and they generally do just like a 10-minute presentation of what the process would be like. And a lot of residents would have questions, would be like, well, they come into my house, can they do this, can they do that? And it's lasted less than a half an hour. But I don't know.
Does the brochure answer a lot of those questions, though?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's more just.
Do they come into people's houses? Do we know that?
Oh, yeah, they always come in, you know?
They will come in?
Yeah, they've been
All right,
reassessed.
we're getting two things. Yes, sir.
I've been reassessed before.
I just had it done.
They come in?
They come in your home.
They go in your house.
They check upstairs, downstairs, everywhere.
I was not prepared.
We're not doing a reval, we're doing a reassessment.
Yeah, but they come and check every,
Yeah.
Not if you're not home.
typically, they don't.
then they send you a note and tell you when to be there.
Typically on reassessments, I don't believe that the process is that they enter into the homes, it's just to get an assessed value. When they do a total reevaluation, which is not what we're talking about here, then they come in and check for improvements and they check for basements and things along those lines. But that's not what we're doing. So it should not be a reason for them to.
Hey, Rich, can you get that for us? So
Yes,
we know-
yes.
Yeah, right now.
Some of the basic questions, so we know right off the bat.
Assessment's different than evaluation.
Streets, when you do reassess, they go in your home.
Those reevaluation.
But in order to appeal, would they then require, is that what they?
It's up to the county.
No, it's not up to the county.
If they appeal, they go to the county.
That's at that level, but you have a right, I just did mine, and I didn't like what they told me.
So you went to your tax assessor.
So they set up appointments, and I went one day,
Yes,
lunchtime,
you did,
and
yeah.
I went, and they have representatives that you can pry to.
All right, Rich, go ahead.
That's basically my report on these.
Thank you.
Okay. They set it up, Rich.
So it's a 5 o'clock meeting, correct?
Yes.
It'll be advertised. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Under new business, we have the proclamation.
Proclamation. Whereas the citizens of the Borough of Runnymede stand firmly committed to promoting reading as the catalyst for our students' future academic success, their preparation for America's jobs of the future, and their ability to compete in a global economy. And whereas the Borough of Runnymede has provided significant leadership in the area of community involvement in the education of our youth, grounded in the principle that educational investment is key to the community's well-being and long-term quality of life. And whereas the NEA's Read Across America, a national celebration of reading, will be conducted on March 2nd, 2012, which would have been the 108th birthday of Theodore Seuss Geisel, better known as Dr. Seuss. And whereas Read Across America NJ is being conducted statewide by the New Jersey Education Association, the New Jersey State League of Municipalities, the New Jersey Library Association, and their local affiliates across the state. Now therefore be it resolved with the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Runnymede, calls on citizens of Runnymede to assure that every child is in a safe place, reading together with a caring adult on March 2nd, 2012. And be it further resolved that this body enthusiastically endorses NEA's Read Across America and Read Across America New Jersey, and recommits our community to engage in programs and activities to make America's children the best readers in the world. For the county mayor.
Second?
You don't need a motion on that.
That's right.
First, put this in the file.
Request authorization to approve 3 taxi licenses for Suburban Transportation. All purple paperwork is in order. Can I have a motion on that?
I mean,
Second.
All those in favor?
aye.
Request authorization for the clerk to advertise for bids for the reconstruction of Reed Avenue, Phase 1, 2012 handicap ramp program, reconstruction of East 2nd and East 3rd Avenue, reconstruction of West 3rd Avenue, and also various improvements at Beaver Branch Park.
I'll make the motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it.
Resolution 1236 is a resolution authorizing the application to be filed with the Camden County Open Space Farmland Preservation Division. These are for the improvements to Beaver Branch Park.
Can I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
The
5 ayes, 1 absent.
The resolution is adopted.
Request authorization for the proper official to sign the New Jersey State Firemen's Association membership application for Billy Myers.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Who made the motion?
Right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Resolution 12-37, this is a resolution authorizing an interlocal services agreement by and between the County of Camden and the Borough of Runnymede in conjunction with the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. This is the Alliance Grant.
Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Pasio?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Resolution is adopted.
Resolution 12-38 is a resolution authorizing the Runnymede Girls Softball to conduct a coin toss on county and borough streets.
Make a motion.
Can I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Resolution adopted.
Resolution 12-39 is a resolution authorizing the Runnymede VFW 3324 to conduct point tours on county and borough streets.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Resolution is adopted.
Resolution 12-40 is a resolution authorizing mayor and the township clerk to sign the project description form for program year 34, Community Development Block Grant. That's the money for East Second Avenue.
Make the motion.
Amen, Hennessy. Roll call.
Mr. Capadas.
Yes.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Resolution is adopted.
The next resolution is 1241. It's a resolution designating recipients for the Camden County Housing Rehabilitation Program and authorizing Camden County Community Development Administrative Agent. This is another HIP application that we,
Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution is adopted.
This is a resolution 12-42 is a resolution requesting approval of the Director of Local Government Services for dedication by rider accumulated absences. Rich, maybe you could go with that.
Yes.
Can I have a motion?
Are you going to explain this to us? Are we actually going to be budgeting for accumulated absence?
Should have the motion in the second person that happened.
I make a, I don't.
Nobody made a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
It was
No, on the question.
Never mind.
Right now, we don't have a compensated absences trust account. Most places, they have the account, and even though it may be in and out, they budget an amount in the budget that goes into there. So if you're expecting maybe $10,000 in costs for retirees, you would budget under that line item, and you would send it to the trust fund. If you're not expecting someone to retire that year, and maybe you want to send $2,000 over because you expect that you might have 6,000 in 3 years, you can put the money in there. Basically, you could also transfer money to that line item at the end of the year, knowing that someone may transfer. So it's kind of like the snow trust that we have set up. It allows you to budget for long term. What we did, and especially with the 2% levy cap and things of that nature, you know, if you can charge money off this year and put it in trust for anticipated retirement, that's the way that we should legally be handling it. The majority of that local finance notice is being applied. And it was also something that in a recent DCA, I guess, policy update, they were reminding us of, you know, that basically the CFO is responsible to verify that the amounts being paid to retirees are proper. Apparently, they've had some issues in audits and things of that nature where people were getting paid money that was not either an ordinance or a contractual issue. So basically, we did a top-to-bottom review of the policies and the statute, and one of the things that we thought that we should do is establish the trust fund. And
But you're talking about all the retirees, you're not saying that at the beginning of the year, you're not budgeting for all the days off that people have. You're just saying.
no, the compensated
You're saying about
absences is
accumulated time.
basically in the audit, in the budget document and in the audit report, there's a page in there that estimates what that is. And the way that the state says that you prepare an estimate is that all your employees are eligible to retire at the end of the year. Now, obviously, that's not realistic, but to establish what the amount is likely to be or could be, you know, it's just a disclosure item. In some states, you're required to actually budget that. New Jersey, it's just a disclosure item. But, so basically, you know,
So like
every
$100,000, is that what it was? Something?
ballpark.
Oh, that's if everyone retired.
Right, and it's very unlikely that you would have to pay everybody the balance of their vacation time for the year, the balance of their, you know, and actually, really, it's just vacation comp time because we don't pay on other items.
When are we gonna start out?
It's unknown at this point in time, it's through, you know, I guess we expect one person to retire, and however that works out with that retirement.
Not yet.
He's got 2 more years. It would be part of the budget process.
All right, so we're not putting that whole $100,000.
Oh, absolutely not. No, we are just making the vehicle to utilize the trust fund.
So we don't have to scramble for money
No, correct.
at some point when somebody's retired. So you're saying, and you're only saying comp time and vacation time is we don't accrue
We don't pay out sick time.
We don't pay out sick time.
Sounds good.
Can I have a roll call now?
Mr. Capados?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Resolution is adopted.
Resolution 12-43 is a resolution authorizing the Runnymede Fire Company to conduct, actually various coin tosses.
Make a motion.
Second.
Resolution is adopted.
And by the way, Mark Diana spoke to every single one of the organizations to explain all the rules and regulations and how much he dislikes the coin tosses.
That was good.
Yes.
Motion.
All those in favor?
Do you want me to hold the closed session?
Yes.
Do the others? Mike, Ready, Sis?
Yeah, hold
Want me
it.
to hold it?
Yeah, hold it. Let's get these resolutions done.
Resolution 12-45 is a resolution awarding the low quote to Grenier Construction and Renovation for the repair of the jail cell floors.
I make a motion.
Roll call?
Mr. Capados?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White? Mr. Williams?
Yes.
And Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-46 is a resolution awarding the low bid to the Cherry Valley Tractor Sales for the purchase of a 2012 chipper.
I make a motion?
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Capados?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
The resolution is adopted.
Is this one or hold?
Yeah, 12:47.
Yeah, we're tabling that.
Is that okay?
Need a motion.
I need a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion to table? Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't have to do a roll call. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
12-48. This is a resolution renewing our phone service carrier, Magellan Hill, for a projected savings of approximately $4,000 per year.
Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Capados?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
Move that the resolution be adopted.
Why is it four?
Aye.
I'm sorry, 5 ayes, 1 absent. Resolution 12-49 is a resolution awarding the state contract to Fire Warnock Fleet for the purchase of a 2012 Ford F-350 four-wheel drive truck for the Public Works Department.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Capados?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
And Mr. Williams?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
I move the resolution be adopted.
Resolution 1250 is a resolution awarding a low quote to Liberty Technology Solutions for an ESI 200 bundled phone system.
Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Capados?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
Resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-51 is a resolution confirming 2012 appointments to, as a part-time provisional police clerk, Christine Harper, at $12.50 per hour. To the municipal court, Nicole Antonelli is a part-time provisional violations clerk at $10 per hour.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call?
I'm sorry, you made the motion, Frank?
Yes.
Mr. Capados?
Yes.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams? 5 ayes, 1 absent.
Resolution is adopted. Payment of bills.
We have 2 more extras that are on the table.
Oh, that's right.
We have resolution 12-52, which are the emergency temporary appropriations. The actual appropriations are on the back of your resolution.
Right, would you gentlemen will read these? Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Roll call.
Mr. Kappas.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White. Mr. Williams.
Yes.
And Mrs. Passios. Yes. 5 ayes, 1 absent.
The resolution is now adopted.
We have 12-53, which are the budget transfers between appropriations for 2011.
Mhm.
Motion.
Have a motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Kappas.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
And Mrs. Passios. Yes. 5 ayes, 1 absent.
This resolution is now adopted.
If I may, the follow-up before you move on to the next item. In the brochure that was provided, that will be going out to residents, there's a section basically that's how it works. It says each property will be physically inspected on the exterior by an experienced field rep. The interior inspections will be performed where needed. So basically, if there is an issue that pops up, then it will be department.
Payment of bills. Can I have a motion on that, please?
Make a motion.
And a second.
Second.
Can I have a roll call? Madam Clerk?
Mr. Kappas. You want to pay the bills now?
You stated the board got it.
Yes, but the mayor's not. Stated the board got it. Where it
You're
is.
doing right on that.
Yes.
That's the conference where it is.
That's the first bill I saw. I said, the board got it on here.
But you go tell the Parents Association I'm not allowed to go.
This is,
That's actually a good price.
They give us a discount for anything.
they give us a discount.
Hey, huh?
Mr. Kappas.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
And Mrs. Passios. Yes. 5 ayes, 1 absent.
Trish, do you think she's the one that canceled the
I
ad?
don't know, yeah,
Can I
we,
cancel
she
you?
got an
Somebody
email,
did.
and it was canceled, we had to go scramble.
No, if
for
I
that.
had known sooner, maybe.
Today we found out.
Uh,
Honest to God. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I have to do roll call. The good and welfare portion. This part of the program is open to the public. This is the good and welfare portion. If anyone would like to say anything, please come up to the microphone, state your name and your address, please. Thank you.
My name is Boyd Martin, 220 West First.
Want to push the mic up a little bit more to your face? Thank you.
Boyd Moore, 220 West First Avenue. This was out there. Mr. Williams first, I appreciate you had John Bender down and take care of the little bit of graffiti. Could we have him do it again?
Yes.
They did minimal effort, they did what I asked you to on the little business,
Yes.
but you think they would have just gone a little further. Have them walk the path, please clean it up.
I will take care of it.
It looks good at what they did.
I know. I was
And
out there.
this is to you, Mr. Kuzeweski. I have an idea for the town to help cut down on graffiti, that type of thing. I believe that this town needs bicycle policing, because that will help. They can ride around Green Acres, it'll stop homeless people living in the woods or some other place that may be down like baseball fields that I've heard about. And they can get into places that the cars can't normally get, and I believe that would be an asset to our town.
Believe it or not, the chief and I already were setting up a route with it. Where they would leave here, go down the bike path around RY, down, all the way down to behind Baker School, come out, go down through Green Acres, come out of Green Acres, go down by Hershey's Lake, go to the girls softball, and then go back up Clemens Bridge Road, down the tracks, the old railroad tracks, go back and keep doing the route. We've been talking about that, it's not yet because of the weather. We do have the bikes, we do have the helmets, we have everything in order.
That's good to hear.
And that's gonna be our. Yeah, but we were talking about that already.
I'll drive it.
Well, you know, and have the specials.
I don't think,
And it'd be nice too, the reason why is they're, when they're riding, they don't see, you know, what I mean, they come up on them before they know it.
Exactly.
And then they get radio in and.
So all the petty
Yes.
stuff will be, help to be cut down.
Right.
Vandalism and that.
Yes, we have the bikes already, we have our, yes.
Wonderful. And then, Mr. Kapadas, this will be you, because this is technically a recreation type thing. My wife and I were speaking, and I don't know how your table is, I'm sure there's a much involved thing. I believe we need a boat ramp down in Green Acres. We're getting a lot of grant money for that type of thing. We have the area, there's a big parking lot down there. And all you have to do is create like a swipe card charge the residents X amount of dollars, and if anybody from out of town wants to use that boat ramp, you would charge them a little more. This would create revenue for our town, which will help defray costs in those areas. So if we could get something able to get, and even just think about it, throw it amongst yourselves to say, because there's a lot of people who have boats and stuff, and we have a perfect waterway right here. And if you go back to Green Acres, past the guardrail, and look back, there was some type of dock or something there, because there's pilings in that, at the end there. So at one time, I don't know what it was.
That was the old bridge.
Is that the old bridge?
Yeah.
Well, then it's feasible to do something there, because you go down just past the left, there's a nice sandy area, I mean, concrete ramp right into the water, and I think that would be an asset to our town. That would bring people in, that could create jobs, bait shops, that type of thing, boat places, all kinds of other individuals. Let's face it, we need businesses coming to our town. And you see, I mean, most places are closing up or look the pipe. It's like half the businesses are all closed up. So if we can get something, it would be an asset. That's what I think.
I would like to just to see a ramp for, what Mr. Daly was looking into, with Homeland Security for our fire department, because we are on the water, and it is a Homeland Security. Mr. Daly was looking into it. We were looking at a couple of different options, down the end of Hirsch Avenue, but not for public ramp, just for emergency, you know, because kids are underwater. If a boat goes down, the closest one is in Belmar by the time they got there.
Yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, well, you know.
But I'm saying, that would be a perfect thing. I mean, let's face it, a lot of people fish, and they all go down the shore or wherever, or somewhere else, and, you know, they leave our town. I would hope that we try to bring people to our town, make our town more enticing. That would be an asset that people would say, hey, Warrenton's a pretty nice place, look what we got here, you know, and they'll come. That's what I'm trying to
I
see.
think we can look into it, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
I would like to see the liability,
Oh,
okay?
I'm sure.
With, you know, launching, with people, with kids and everything else with the liability with it.
You know, so, I'm saying, it's a fault. It's a
Yeah,
fault.
that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Patty Dunn, 73 Harding Avenue. My husband and I found took a walk the day following the reward meeting down the bike path. I have pictures of the graffiti. It's really not as bad as some may think. What I was concerned about is the reward meeting, is one, Dan Conrad's blog, stated that a penis was drawn in white on the ground, and Mr. Moore stated it. And then the borough workers went down there and painted it black. I'm sorry, Mr. Moore, but that is not true. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We did walk the bike path, and I'm sure it's going to be corrected. But I just came up with that one since he brought that up. My question up here was, the Board of Education, they passed their budget, and they kept it under a 2% cap, and we're advertising it that it's going to be on the assessed value, I guess, prior to this assessment. So now that the houses are going to be reassessed, obviously the increase will be changed, correct? They passed their budget and, well,
It's going.
the houses are assessed now, it's going to be a completely different
Right,
figure.
but I think the difference difference is, I don't think our program is going to go into effect until 2013. So what's going to happen is the school board budget for the first 6 months of the year, which would be 2012, would be on the old assessment. So it would be possible that there would be an adjustment that would have to be made in next year's budget to accommodate the assessment.
Okay. One more statement. Joyce Pinto mentioned about if you are going to have a meeting, this room holding the amount of people. Once it goes through, you can view this meeting on Mr. Conrad's blog, so come tomorrow afternoon. What I feel residents will hear is Board of Education passed their budget, taxes are going to go up. After viewing this meeting, people are going to be confused about things and they're going to feel their taxes go up. So if you do appoint a meeting, I would have that in your thoughts that I would imagine there's going to be a lot more people than could fill this room. Because usually when you're talking about money, this log goes from like 4 hits to like 80. So it just like runs rapid, and I imagine when, keep in mind when you do book the meeting that you're going to have your,
I don't think that the school board budget hasn't been passed. They've only proposed an average increase of $49 for the average assessed property in this town. They still have to do their presentation. We're asking them to come to a presentation with us,
Okay.
and then it goes to the county superintendent, and they want to keep it under 2%. And at this point, I think they have no choice to keep it under 2% because they haven't advertised they can't anymore, they have no choice.
Some
They have-
people
They're
still have to
feeling, they're
vote on
feeling
it.
they can keep it.
There's no vote on that anymore.
No vote on the budget?
No.
No.
If the budget exceeds the 2% cap, it would be voted on.
They have no choice. They've already accepted the fact that they're keeping it below the 2% for the next 4 years.
Well, that's, if there is a increase that is required over 2%, then they have the ability to put the special question on the November election or in January.
But at this point, am I correct, Pat? Are they below the 2%?
That's what Dr. Ward said.
Yeah, I mean, that's their
It is
budget.
below the 2%.
They like keeping it under $5 per child per day. So if they can keep it under, am I correct, Sam? Because this is when I first
It's
heard
gonna be under
education meeting.
$5.
It was, very informative, but, like, I'm confused because at that board meeting, Maria with that, you went to a meeting after the Board of Education meeting, Ms., is that open to public?
Which one?
The second, the board, they had another Board of Education meeting after the one we attended?
No.
Okay.
They are going to have another one to present the budget again, open to the public. Hasn't been announced the date.
Oh, that one, the last meeting wasn't up to the public?
The last meeting was open to the
Oh,
public.
They'll have
They were
like
March
three,
1st.
yeah, they'll have like 3 in 1 month.
They had a special meeting.
Yes,
Yeah, that was open to the public.
yes, that would have been good. But at that point, I didn't know if, the RYAA was receiving the buildings for free. So at that meeting, it must have been monthly for that.
That was at the original Board of Education meeting.
The not special, it was at the general, it was at a not special meeting.
Oh, okay.
March 1st was the special meeting to propose the budget. And,
The fees will be February 25th.
Commissioner,
I'm sorry, I was confused. I'm really confused about the whole process of the Board of Education, and the budget passing. That was my first meeting, very interesting, but it is a little confusing. So they didn't pass it yet, that's just like a.
An introduction. The introduction, but like I said, they passed a resolution saying that they no longer will put the budget out for vote anymore. And so as long as they stay below that 2% cap. But like Ms. Passio said, it still has to have a signature from the county. And that's how the process went before. The school board would propose a budget, the county would sign off on it, then it went to the voters. If it passed, it was done. If it failed, it came to this board.
I also have a pamphlet of questions and answers that you can have after the meeting. I'll certainly have to give it to you regarding the school budget.
Okay, thank you.
Patty, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
I
I was very nerve-wracking too.
I'd like to make just one point of clarification there with regard to the reassessment. Basically, if you have a house that today is worth $100,000, which is approximately what the average is,
If the property value for reassessment goes up to $200,000, and not to get too complicated, but if you're paying $1 tax on $100,000, if the property value goes up to $200,000 and everything else is equal, then the tax rate goes to 50 cents, and you'll be paying the same tax. Obviously, some people's properties are underassessed, so if your property is really on the books right now for $100,000, and it should have been on the books right now for $125,000, there might be a slight difference. And basically, I guess they use the thirds. A third of people stay the same, a third of people go up, and a third of people go down. But for the most part, just going through the reval process and bringing properties up to value, it would push the tax rate down, and it would be 0 different. Now, obviously, there will be changes. And with regards to the way that the school board works, this year's taxes are based on October 1st of 2011. So that won't change with regards to how that works. So, they'll be striking the value as of this October the same way they did last year. So,
And one more thing to be clear is that the amount of money we tax does not change. The $7 million approximately, even after we assess everything, it'll still be $7 million. It's just divided up slightly differently possibly.
Correct.
Correct? Some go up, some go down, some stay the same.
correct.
Gene Smith, 876 Orchard. First off,
Name and address?
Gene Smith, 876 Orchard Ave. First off, the lights on the Black Horse Pike, who's ever in charge of getting those guys in, they look super. I know that, we've been going through this for what, 10 years now? And there's really some progress being made. When you drive into town, when there's maybe if you drive into town real late, you get to see these guys and there's not a lot of traffic on the Pike and they look super. So who's ever in charge of getting that done, fantastic. All right, I have a question, the tax collection rate, where are we at?
98.05.
98.05, okay.
2011.
I've got, in my neighborhood, and Eddie, you probably know this, there's a lot of abandoned houses. And folks have walked away from the mortgages. Okay, the banks,
The mortgage company still paying the taxes.
the mortgage companies still pay. What's gonna happen, and I think you kind of explained the difference between a reval and a reassessment. What's gonna happen with these properties? Because I know there's been some properties on the Black Horse Pike with Flam, the bar that used to be on, used to be the merry-go-round. They tore these properties down, or the buildings down, and had the properties reassessed. So they're paying less property taxes on those properties, is that correct?
The building's torn down, yes, of course. They're only paying for land.
Okay,
Taxes on
my fear is that, and it's not really a fear, I guess, but, I've got some places around me that are really falling into disrepair, okay? And people walked away from these places. What's gonna stop these banks from saying, hey, look, let's stop the bloodletting here, paying these taxes on this place, let's tear them down, and get this thing reassessed. So we're gonna have this sliding scale. Those that maintain their properties as opposed to the ones that have fallen in disrepair. And it's, quite frankly, it's the economy, and you can't stop that. And the housing crisis. Are we doing this by law, this reassessment? It has to be done?
Should have been done several years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, so you're saying by law, this has to be done this
You're
year?
required by the county to do a reassessment every so often, and I don't think we've done one in quite some time, so we do have to do that so that the records are up to date.
Okay. If we were to wait, we'd be ordered to do a revaluation, which would cost significantly more than the reassessment.
So, now, I'm confused here. How do you keep this fair and equitable across the board? Because you're gonna have this, I think, when's the last one done? 1998, 1996? 90?
20.
Okay, and the economy was a lot different. You had, you didn't have this housing crisis going
My house went up 20 years ago.
Yeah, so did mine, so did mine,
Yeah.
but, now you're really gonna have a disparity between these properties that are abandoned and are falling into disrepair as the people that maintain it. So, it sounds like some folks are gonna get their taxes increased, just because of the economy or because of this housing crisis, am I correct here?
Well, just to be clear, because your assessment goes up, as Mr. Ray had pointed out, does not necessarily mean your taxes are going to go up. It's just the basis upon which they are measuring your taxes changes. So if your assessed value goes up, your tax rate goes down, and the argument is to do that to compare apples to apples, you're still going to be paying your taxes are going to be the same, it's just going to be assessed.
So you're saying the collection rate is gonna be the same across the board?
The collection rate is a different story, but the amount to be.
I mean, the amount collected,
Taxes.
the amount collected is gonna be the same across the board?
Yes.
And, so, okay, most folks won't have a tax increase?
It depends on what the assessment comes out. Typically, it's considered a rule that typically third stay the same, third go up and third go down. But when they say that they go up and they go down, they actually try to catch it into like a 90% tile bracket of everyone's property taxes being the same within the 90 percentile or something along those lines. And the ones that are off of the scale are the ones that they look at and try to figure out why the assessment has changed so drastically.
And you can pull this whole process off in,
I can't do it.
I mean,
The tax
this can be
assessment-
pulled off in a year, this whole process?
They
Really?
They did it before.
They just did Gloucester Township, which is, 8
Lot
times.
bigger.
They just did Deptford, they just did my town, yeah.
Okay. All right, let me answer my question. Thanks.
Thank you.
Maria Panzarella, 12 South Oakland Avenue. I just want to thank all of you, because as little as it may seem to everyone else, the bleachers are huge to us. We could actually lose our charter with Little League, as I pointed out, because they're non-compliant. So I appreciate it. I also personally invite you. Opening day is Saturday, April 14th. I'll be in touch with the police, but we need the roads closed again. Our parade will start at Bolts, and we'll work our way up to the sports complex for a 10 o'clock ceremony, if you will. I'm sorry, not 10 o'clock, because we'll start marching at 10, probably by 10:30, quarter to 11 for the ceremony. It's good. I see the same, people every year. Mayor, please come out again. We appreciated you there last year. So if you're available, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to close the good and welfare portion?
Make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Closed session.
Resolution 1244.
Can I have a motion to go into closed session, please? Those in favor? Thank you.